decades, social media companies and lawmakers promised guardrails, but every day it just seems like the problems are getting worse. Stories of addiction, eating disorders, bullying, and suicide. Our kids just cannot put down those phones. But just this week, 2 juries held social media companies accountable for harming young users. The trial in Los Angeles, attended by members of tech policy, child safety groups, as well as dozens of parents who said social media had harmed their children. And maybe a landmark settlement, but at the end of the day, what does it actually mean for the lives of our children? Mark Lanier, lead counsel for the California social media trial, joins me now. Mark, good to see you.
Great to be here, Kira.
Well, how did Kaylee react to the verdict? And are we ever going to get a chance to hear directly from her?
You know, she does suffer from a social phobia, which makes it real hard for her to do these things. Her immediate reaction was one of gratitude. She said to me, "Please be sure and thank the jury, thank the judge, thank those who have attended, thank the media that's paying attention." She just doesn't like to talk to people. I think it's part of the problem she's got from having been addicted to this since she was 9 years old.
What was it like also to hear from just the social media pioneers like Mark Zuckerberg testify? Did he seem to understand the level of anger and danger here?
I don't think he did. So I cross-examined him for the good part of the day. And I really put it to him because I felt like he had not been honest with the public. He'd not been honest with Congress when he testified there. And I challenged him on it rather directly. And he would not budge from these positions that we know from the documents are false. We know that Meta, specifically Mark Zuckerberg, put goals for increasing viewership on his people, saying, let's get more teens to spend more time on these apps by X%. And I'd hit him with the documents and he would just try to dance around them. But I think the jury, talking to him afterwards, found him disingenuous.
Well, Kaylee got $6 million in damages. A jury in New Mexico found Meta liable for $375 million. These companies, though, Mark, are worth billions of dollars. So how much money is it going to take, or would it take, to actually get them to change their behavior?
Kira, that's the problem. These companies are worth trillions of dollars. They're the largest companies in the history of human civilization. And to get them to change is going to take a massive outcry, and it's going to take a massive amount of money coming through the court system. And so we'll continue to fight them everywhere we can, as much as we can. New Mexico was great because it was for the state of New Mexico, so it wasn't just a single plaintiff. But we've got thousands of Kayleys like we just tried the case against, and at some point, it's going to start stinging.
Well, if you look at the history of, say, cigarettes and the landmark judgments against those companies, Mark, it resulted in warning labels, restrictions on advertising, but kids still smoke. People are still dying from lung cancer. So does true change need to come from elsewhere, like legislation? There's already this bipartisan Kids Online Safety Act that's out there that would build on laws in more than 30 states banning phones in schools. What do you think?
That's a good start. I'd love for us to get rid of Section 230, which gives all of these internet companies a get out of jail free card. They get a free pass for any content. So sexploitation can be happening on these platforms and nothing can be done about it. We had to go after addictive features. We weren't allowed to talk about the sexual exploitation, the bullying, that types of content related material. We've got to open it up where these companies can be held accountable to normal citizens.
So in a response to the ruling, Meta said in a statement, "We respectfully disagree with the verdict and will appeal. Teen mental health is profoundly complex and cannot be linked to a single app. We will continue to defend ourselves vigorously as every case is different, and we remain confident in our record of protecting teens online." Your response, of course.
Yeah. Meta's got great PR people. And one of the things that we found interesting, one of the documents I put in front of the jury that had been confidential all these years, was the health and well-being section within Meta saying, why do our PR people put out that we care so much, and yet they won't let us do the things we need to do to take care of these problems? It said, quote, "We do cartwheels," close quote, instead of addressing the very problems we're pretending in PR to address.
So I know your kids are grown now, Mark, but you have grandkids. Do you talk to them about social media? Do you talk to your kids about putting restrictions on their kids? How do you handle this, just knowing what you know as a lawyer and being in the courtroom, dealing with these companies, seeing the results of what the addiction can do to young kids? I'm just curious how you handle it within your own family.
We have very open communication about this. We also are very careful about giving phones to our kids. At what age do they get phones, and what do you put on the phones for devices? But the bottom line is parents need to be careful, because no parent is smart enough to go up against a $1 trillion company that's targeting the child. And so we've got to figure out a way to get the companies to quit seeing the children in dollar signs and instead see them as children that need to be nurtured and taken care of, regardless of the cost. So yes, we're very direct with our grandchildren. One of our granddaughters, 9-year-old granddaughter, after the jury verdict came out, said, "I just have decided I won't get on social media until I'm 93. Now, I'm sure that will change, but we do talk to them about it quite candidly.
But Mark, we do have to be candid. I'm a parent of teens. I'm having to navigate all this. We are really strict. They get angry with me and my husband. They complain about limits and being grounded when they break the rules. But there's a responsibility that parents have here as well. We can't put everything on these companies. We also have to play our part as well.
Without a doubt, parental vigilance is extremely important. I applaud you for what you're doing, Kara, and I can't stress that enough. It is a multi-front war, and so we need to be diligent as parents. Schools need to be diligent. Legislatures on every level, from local all the way to national, need to be diligent, and the companies need to be diligent. Social media can do good things, but to a developing teen and preteen mind, when the frontal lobe is not fully developed, this is a dangerous, addictive substance. And so we've got to be careful at how it's used.
Absolutely. It is literally rewiring their brains. Mark Lanier, appreciate you and what you're doing. Thank you so much for your time today.